Welcome to episode 14 of the Organized Frenzy podcast. Sorry, cats are there. I'm Natasha and I live in Welland, Ontario, Canada with my boyfriend Jesse and our roommate Fred and 3 cats. You might see them today because I'm in the living room. Just didn't really feel like sitting in the office. Here's Simba. Hi, baby. Doesn't really like to be held, but needs to be near people. Just stay over. Just go down. Oh, and you can find me on Instagram as Organized Frenzy, on Ravelry as Natasha Hillier, and I also have a Ravelry group called Organized Frenzy Podcast. And I apologize if I look a bit deathly. I'm kind of groggy today. It's been a long week and I didn't really get to wake up on my own terms today. Well, sort of. I'll talk more about that later because I have tons of knitting things to show you this week. Because it's been, 2 weeks since I last podcasted. So let me start with my finished objects. So I finished my Hermione's Everyday Socks. So I haven't actually washed these yet, so they're a bit lumpy. Toe up, and then of course just the pattern on the top of the foot. And then I tried a new heel, like I was telling you guys, for a reverse heel flap and gusset, but I didn't really like it. I thought it was a bit, I don't know, I didn't love it. It's a bit lumpy and bumpy for me. But there's another one I want to try, which may be smoother. And then I also bought Sockmaticians reverse heel flap and gusset toe up vanilla sock pattern, whatever you want to call it. So that's the one I'm probably going to try next. But anyway, these look okay when they're on. It's just I have some things that I don't love about the heel. It's a bit too wide and like square for me. I don't know. Like, can you see how it kind of sticks out here? I don't know. Anyway, and then I did a couple rows just plain after the heel because it's really thick. It doesn't have a lot of stretch. And then I was doing the pattern on the whole sock. And I did, which I've only ever done once before, a 1x1 ribbed cuff. And it doesn't look as tidy as a 2x2 rib in my gauge. I was really trying to keep a good tension, but what I found was, okay, so here it is off the blocker. The inside actually looks tidier than the outside. It almost looks like a twisted rib on the inside. I guess it's because I was pulling the purl stitches like tighter. I don't know. Inside and outside difference. So that was kind of odd. But like I said, I haven't washed those yet because I finished them while I was in Dominican actually. So I just didn't bother. Oops. I have other things that are falling that are not meant to be seen yet. Okay, so I finished those. While I was away, I also knit my Moffat hat. Sorry, I cut that off a little bit. I forgot to mention, and I keep forgetting to mention this, 2 or 3 times now, I've received like a notification from YouTube saying, oh, recommended video for you, Organized Frenzy podcast. And it's like, I don't really want to watch my own video. It's just funny. But yes, so this is the Moffat hat by Danielle Camo. And I love it. The yarn is Katia Concept Cotton Merino, and it calls for two balls of that yarn. You can wear it just unfolded, but you can also fold up the brim to make it a little bit less slouchy, which is my preference. It's just a bit too long for me, like for my head, without the brim folded, especially with the pom-pom on it. It really adds weight and it pulls it down, and it reminds me of that, I don't even know what it is, but it's like a red and white stripe. I think it's like Check How Windy It Is. It's like a long tube, but it gets skinnier. It kind of reminds me of wearing that on your head, so it's kind of odd. Have you ever seen those hats that are like down to your butt, like that long? It's not like that, but hats that are too long kind of make me think of that, and it doesn't look good on me. So anyway, I'm gonna wear mine with the brim folded up. Now, you can't fold it up too much, otherwise you cover the cable, which is super pretty, and you don't want to do. So that's about as much as I would wear it folded. I have my hair in a bun, so it looks a bit odd, but it's cozy. I guess I could wear it like that too, and it would be fine. But when I finished it, I had my aunt tried it on because she was the one who took me on vacation, and she really liked it. She said the size was good. She thinks she has a big head and needs like huge hats, but I knit the adult size, and she said, oh, it fits really well. I love it. So I told her I was planning, she knew I was planning to knit her something for Christmas, but I said it's not done yet and I don't know how I'm going to like it. So do you want this hat instead? And she said, sure. And I said, I just got everything from a yarn shop in Oakville called Spun. And I like this long ribbing here. Like it hugs really nicely. It's not as bad with my bun in because it keeps the hat up a bit, but it is long. Hello, Fatty. This is my kitten who is giant because she keeps eating. Can you see her belly? She just keeps eating and eating and doesn't stop. Don't bite that yarn. Just stay here. You can stay on the podcast if you want. Anyway, what was I saying? Yeah, so she said sure, and I said I got it like as a kit, so it comes with a pom-pom, and I was asking her what kind of colors she wanted, and she said black or navy, like something dark or something that wouldn't wash her out. So I went there after the trip, after I got home, or as I was driving home, and there wasn't anything black. I thought there might be this cotton merino in like a black, and can you tell that this is like light pink? I love this yarn. There wasn't anything black though, so I didn't get that. I got, oh, here it is. I'm trying to remember where I put everything because I organized everything last weekend to do a podcast, but I wasn't feeling it, so I didn't do it. I want to show you the other one. And then I wanted to make another one for myself as well, doing the child size. Because the difference in head circumference wasn't huge, and I figured it would be a bit tighter. Anyway, so this is what I had originally picked for myself. Same yarn as before, so Katia Concept Cotton Merino. This is color 106. And then the pom-pom, which I thought went nicely because it's like black with white tips, but it almost looks gray. I thought it looked really nice together. And then I was like, okay, well, what can I get for my aunt? And so I wanted to do Ancient Arts. That's the other kit she had available. I mean, you could use any yarn, but this is what the kits were put together from. So Ancient Arts, I think it's DK. Yeah, DK or light worsted. It's 100% superwash extra fine merino. The color name, which I love, and I didn't even notice. And this card is really, or this color is really hard to show on camera. It looks like grayish there, but it's like a deep teal. Oh, let's see. I don't know. Anyway, this color is called Davy Jones Locker. Oh my god. I love Pirates of the Caribbean. So I chose this color. It was the last skein that was there. And then I'm like, well, what pom-pom am I gonna get to go with it? Ooh, they look so good together. And so I'm in this dilemma. I'm like, I have this kit and this kit, and I love them both. And I don't know which one my aunt's gonna want, but I'm gonna let her choose. I thought this might be a bit too colorful for her. This might be a bit too modern. I don't know. But I decided that I would let her choose which one she wanted, and the other one was meant for me. So she chose the first combo, which I kind of had a feeling of because it's more neutral. But I'm super happy with this. And my first one is in the cotton merino, so it kind of makes sense to have a different yarn. I am going to modify them, our hats, a little bit to move the cable up and to make it a little bit less slouchy, like my aunt wants hers a bit more fitted. So I'm going to modify a little bit for that. And I think I've worked out all the measurements. I wrote everything down. For myself, I am going to do the child size, which should be okay. I'm just trying to think. It does, I do a German cast on, so it is quite stretchy here. The only thing I'm worried about is the cable, but it's still quite stretchy. I knit it quite loose, so yes, okay. We'll be fine doing it like that. She wants the adult size though, so that's what I'll do. Just having water today because I didn't feel like having a warm tea. It's kind of warm out, 3 degrees. But I turned off the heat and then I put a sweater on. Hello. So Yeah, but I just didn't feel like tea. Not right now anyway. Maybe when I'm editing the podcast and watching some videos and stuff. That's what I'll do. So I have some whips as well. You little crazy girl. Oh. Just lay down. This is a little, I had some rainbow yarn. Really cheap, like gross acrylic. And I wanted to see how the dishcloth thing was constructed. But how I would do a rectangle. I don't know. I was just playing around. I added some tassels on, not even like a proper tassel, just tied it on. But it's a nice little square for the cat, so I just put it right here. I don't even know if they use it, but they've bitten the ends of the tassels. Excuse me. So, yeah. But what was I talking about? Oh yes, I have lots of whips. So I finished my socks and Moffat hat while I was in Dominican, and then I brought 2 more projects. This first one, I haven't worked on these in a while. Okay, this first one is socks for my grandma. And I did talk about the yarns for these last time. This is a Barocco Ultra Alpaca Fine fingering weight. It's, I don't want to bother finding a label. It's not a high content of alpaca. You can't really feel the alpaca, which is kind of annoying. It's not a super high twist either, so you have to be careful with splitting the stitches. But I'm doing, oh wow, you're not gonna be able to see. It is quite dark. It's a dark purple. I'm doing a garter rib. 56 stitches. Just updating my progress keeper. 56 stitches because she is small, and she wants, she mentioned to me a while ago, she wants a long cuff on her socks, so that's what she's going to get. And then the other pair of socks are for Fred, my roommate, and this is a random sock yarn, but we've got some fun pooling going on here. This is 72 stitches, so quite large. It was weird. Some days I knit both of the socks, and it's quite weird to switch from 56 to 72. Like, it is huge. The difference is crazy. Look, that twice. Anyway, I haven't even worked on these since I was in the Dominican, so I guess I should. I brought my knitting needles on the plane there. I wasn't worried about that. I didn't bring them on the way back. I was, 1, a little bit worried about the knitting needles, but 2, I just kind of wanted to relax, and I had been knitting all week, so I didn't want to, I just wanted to take a break from it. So that's what I did. I didn't bring my knitting on the way home, but that's fine. I read, which was nice. Another pre-whip, I guess you could call it, is this little swatch. What do you want? So this is the yarn that arrived while I was away. for Jesse's sweater. So I bought some Cascade 220 worsted. It's called Smoke Heather, I believe. Yep, Smoke Heather. So it did, like I said, it arrived while I was away. But there are 11 skeins. It's a lot of yarn. That is the most skeins that I have purchased. No, sorry, my Comfort Fade card, yeah, I purchased 11 skeins, but I didn't use nearly all of it, or nearly, yeah, I didn't use all of it. I had lots of leftover. For this, I'll probably have just under 1 skein left over, I think, if I can remember correctly. But yeah, I wound up just 1 ball to start so I could do the swatch, and I did the swatch with the recommended needle size for the pattern. It's the Patina Pullover. It's from Rib Magazine. I can't remember who designed it, but it was like on the front cover of the first issue of Rib Magazine, and I loved it, and I wanted to make it for Jesse since I saw it, and finally I bought the yarn. So I did measure it. I'm pretty sure I got a gauge. Let's just check something quickly. It's my Knitter's Pride elephant gauge. So I'm a tiny bit short with this swatch here, but I didn't block it super aggressively. Like if I block it a tiny bit harder, it would be fine. I'm like 1 stitch short of gauge. My row gauge I didn't measure and block, or I didn't measure it when I blocked it, so that's fine. It will be fine. I think I have all the knitting needles ready. Mostly there's like 1 pair that I need that are on a different project. So I do want to finish that project before I start with Jesse's. The pattern was, I read through it, it was a little bit confusing for when to use the smaller needles, because I don't think you use it for the ribbing at the bottom, but I think you use it for the sleeves and the collar. I can't remember, but I'll have to double check it. Either way, you start with the, what's it called? The main needles. So I guess I could start it now, but I want to focus on it while I'm knitting it and don't want to pause it and have to take needles off another project. So yeah, but I showed him the yarn when it came and he's like, that's it? It's just 1? Is that enough for a sweater? I'm like, come here. And then I showed him the box and I'm like, there's 11 balls in total. And he's like, oh, okay. It's funny. But yeah, so the needles actually that I need for the sweater for Jesse are on another shawl, which I am going to be working on after I finish my What the Fade. And I'm actually getting quite close to the end. I'm finally on the 5th clue, which is the final clue of knitting. Sorry if this is spoiling anything, but clue 6 is a bonus clue, and it's tassels added onto the shawl if you want. So I'm on clue 5, which uses colors A and B, but right now just B. Then I'm gonna start fading in A and then use just A. Let me organize this. So I've just been doing like 1 repeat at a time, and it's slowly coming together. So here it is. This thing is huge, so that's the front. I haven't showed it to you in a while because it doesn't look like a lot of progress when you show it, because each row is so long. It doesn't, so that's why I didn't show it to you. So this is where I was last time. So I'll update that now. Yikes, my progress keeper is a little bit tangled on the yarn. There's about 500 stitches on my needles right now. There may be slightly less because I missed some repeats in earlier pattern or earlier clues. But I get to I-cord bind off all of this shortly. I showed you the front, here's the back. I like the fade between the brioche and the color better there because it's smoother. Whereas on the front you've got that noticeable line. But we'll see when I wear it. It might be a different story. But yes, I have been working away on this. My gauge, I think, is still quite consistent, which is good because it did change as I was working on the brioche. But for the garter, it's been pretty good. It's quite big. There's quite a few ends, but I'm not worried about the ends. I can't remember if it was last episode, but I did talk about at one point weaving in ends. Do you do it before or after washing? And I was watching Rainy Knits, Justine of Rainy Knits, a couple days ago, and she weaves in her ends, doesn't cut them, but washes and then cuts them after. So that's what I'm going to try doing in the future. To see socks, I don't really mind, but for like shawls and sweaters and things, that's what I'm going to try doing. To see how I like that. And I haven't woven in ends and brioche yet, so we'll see how that goes. I'm hoping it holds okay. I watched a couple of Andrea Mowry's videos for the faded tassels and for weaving in ends, and she gives you a couple options. You can just weave it in like normal, or you can weave it into the I-cord edge. So I might do that. I feel like it's a bit more hidden. I don't know. We'll see. But that's what I've been working on a ton. Actually, that's the only thing I've been working on. My blanket, I forgot to stop knitting and then show you as I was introducing myself. I have been working on it a bit. Not recently. Was it before my trip? I can't remember. Might have been before my trip. But yes, I'm working on this green color right now. So I think I'm nearing the end of it. And then I'll be able to add the next color. But yeah, so that's kind of what I've been doing for knitting lately. I did buy some yarn while I was at Spun, some Richard DeVries yarn, because they had a trunk show while I was there buying Moffat hat kits. And they're just little mini skeins, like 65 grams or something, so I got two. They are 100% merino, but I might make socks with them because I like them together. Or I'll figure out a shawl or something. I don't know yet. I hear Jessie. Knittertainment. Not a lot. I finished Harry Potter the audiobook, Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows, while I was away. The ending is just so like magical. Sorry about that. Jesse came downstairs and I felt awkward talking to my phone while he's here. So I think I was talking about entertainment. I finished the 7th Harry Potter audiobook, Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows, and like I said, I just find when everything comes together, it's so magical and so exciting. So that was fun. Although I think I was sleeping for a bit of it because I was also laying beside the pool, so I might have missed a bit. I did have to rewind. I realized I was sleeping and whatever. I watched Jane the Virgin before I went away, and then when I got back I watched Riverdale, so watching those two, and then Boy Meets World, and we are very close to the end, so it's kind of been the same entertainment for a while. But today I am planning on catching up with Riverdale and Jane the Virgin, but then also watching some podcasts. So that's going to be the rest of my afternoon, which I'm looking forward to. Excuse me. Earlier today, or I guess I'll tell you about my past week. So I got back from vacation on Friday. Chloe! I don't know if she's come on the podcast before. She's the second cat that we got, and she's a bit more shy. Mostly just likes to do her own thing, but she's very majestic looking because she's black and got long hair. But I'm trying to call her over, but she's sitting in the sun, so I don't know if she will. My vacation was Friday to Friday, and that was actually quite nice because I didn't have to worry about getting back on a Saturday and having like one day to relax, or even getting back on Sunday and not having any time to relax at all after getting back. So getting back on Friday was nice. I still had the weekend. I came home on Saturday and then I had Sunday here, so that was good. And like I said, on the way home from my grandma's house, I stopped at Spun and got some stuff. And I am still trying to go through Stash Yarn. I have a lot of stuff planned for Stash Yarn, but I'm just not going to go crazy with buying yarn. Let's say that. Because I do want to knit bigger projects, so that is a bit costlier for yarn. So I'm trying to make more planned purchases. But yeah. So then this past week at work, I worked 6 days, and I thought that was a bit unfair for my first week back, but it went quickly. I wasn't super busy like I thought I might be, so that was okay. And then one of the girls who, one of my friends that I used to work with but who moved, she's back in the area for the weekend visiting her parents. So me, and then the other lady decided to hang out Saturday night. So that's what we did last night. We went to the one lady's house. She made us a delicious dinner. Steak, and there was salad, and the one girl made a little jalapeno popper appetizer, and Jessie brought some soup. We just hung out and we had some tarts for dessert. It was so good, and it's really nice company. So, and I brought my knitting, my What the Fade, and worked on that I really didn't do much, but the other girl brought her knitting. She brought, she started her second sock, and she'd finished the heel flap. She just had to pick up for the gusset. So it worked out that she brought it because I was able to help her with it. And so she hasn't worked on it too much. She's quite busy with the new role that she's in, but hopefully soon she'll be knitting with some sock weight yarn, some socks. or whatever she wants to knit next. So that was last night. And then today, Jesse left for work at about 7:50 or 7:55 or something. And he said bye to me when he left. And then I fell right back asleep. And I didn't have an alarm set for myself because I usually don't sleep in too late. Just my body naturally wakes up. But I had to do something at 11:30 and I needed to leave the house about an hour before then. So I wake up, look at the clock. It's 10:28. So I took about 10 minutes to get ready and then I left. I went to the Apple store in Burlington, so it's in Mapleview Mall, because I had ordered a battery replacement for my iPhone, and my appointment was at 11:30 to have it replaced. So I got there a couple minutes late. It wasn't a big deal, but they took about an hour to replace my phone. So I went, just wandered the mall, had some food. I got some Colonel's popcorn, which will not last long. I got 3 large bags. So that it's climbing in a bag. And I got some books, so I'm excited about that. Mostly poetry, a couple other random ones, but like I said, I'm trying to read more this year, so I don't even remember what apps I've talked about on my favorite apps, but Goodreads would be one of my favorite apps. So you can scan the barcodes, or you could search by title or author of books that you've read or books you want to read. You can rate them, and then as you're reading a book, you can update your progress by percentage or by page number, and then it'll give you the percentage. I cut myself on my finger, and it was in a spot that was really painful when I was putting my ring on and off, right here, and it's kind of a scab now, so it's almost done. Anyway, haven't read too much this week. I'm trying, but it's just been a bit of a long week. I found my sleep wasn't the best, because while I was away, it's not like we went to bed early and slept in every single day, but I went to bed maybe 11 or 12, but then we woke up at about 8 or 8:30 each day, so it was like you were in a routine, which is not what I have at home because my shifts are all over the place. So going from having that schedule to being kind of all over the place was a bit exhausting. So I think that's why I slept in so late today. Just catching up on sleep. And like I said, I don't have tomorrow off, so it's just a one-day weekend. But I have a Thursday off this week, so the Thursday before Good Friday. So I will have a 4-day weekend, which is exciting. We're going to spend Saturday Saturday dinner is going to be with my family. Sunday dinner will be with Jesse's family. Come back Sunday night because I work early on Monday morning. So I don't know when I'm going to film another podcast. Maybe Friday, depending on how much I have done, or maybe I just will because I like to do it weekly. Maybe Good Friday, I'll film an episode. I don't know. But yeah, as the weather gets warmer and it's more sunny outside and it's nicer, it inspires me to do more things. So I don't know, we'll see. I'm working hard at my What the Fade. I felt like when I started the garter, or when I was at the end of the brioche section, it felt like it was dragging on, but then I was like, okay, get to start a new section now in garter. But then it's like, oh my gosh, it's like 5 clues, I think. I think clues 1 and 2 were the brioche, and then 3, 4, 5 was the garter. oh my gosh, it was so long. Like I feel bad saying that I would like dreaded working on it, but I didn't dread it, but I just wanted to work on other things that were maybe a bit more exciting. Oh, excuse me. So I found it a bit boring at that point, but now that I'm excuse me, almost done the garter, even with the last section, it became more of a rhythmic thing, and I was okay working on it for longer periods of time, or working on just that for a few days. Now that I'm in the last clue, it's very exciting. Like I said, I just have one more, I think just one more repeat of B, and then I do the fade. Zena, leave her. I have so many like cat houses, and one cat will go in and Zena, the little kitten, will try and join and stir up some trouble. Anyway, then I do my fading section between A and B, and then a solid section of color A, and then bind off in color A. And then I'll add my tassels on because I do want to do those. Maybe I'll work on, no, I'm not going to work on it yet until I have my yarn. Right. But yeah, so it's exciting that I'm near the end. I know I still have a quite a bit left to go, and the rows just keep getting longer and longer. It takes about 15 minutes to knit one row because of how many stitches are on there. So one repeat, like back and forth, one garter ridge, is about half an hour for me. It's getting to be over, it is actually over half an hour now, because you're adding 4 stitches for each time you increase. So it doesn't seem like a lot, but it is. So like as you keep adding and adding, so it's, yeah, it's a bit of a long process, but it is quite good to be working on that while I watch other things. And I like the needle size. It's a 3.5 millimeter, or even my blanket 3.25 millimeters. It's more comfortable. I think that's like my optimal knitting needle size. I can control everything. It's smallish, but it's not huge. Like, so it's quite comfortable to knit on that for me. More comfortable than socks. So I love knitting socks, but it's nice to knit other things as well. Wow, it's really sunny. But yeah, that's what I have this week. I'm just checking my notes. There's nothing else that I wanted to mention. Yeah, thanks for joining me. Thanks for being patient. If you have been waiting for another episode, I don't know if anyone has. But yes, it was kind of nice that I had lots to share this time, because usually it's not a lot, but like I said, taking my time with my knitting, and hopefully next weekend too I'll get to knit a lot with family and stuff. But yeah, I will see you in about a week, and happy knitting. Bye.